Westerners were not the only early Americans forging a new beginning in Louisiana. Over 150 years ago, 8 families from South Carolina had the very same idea, and they decided to settle in northwestern Louisiana. Bienville Parish is our next stop to the town of Mount Lebanon. These days, the population is only about 70 people, but prior to the Civil War, Mount Lebanon was a thriving community. Up in northwest Louisiana, at the intersection of State Highways 157 and 517, sits the one-signal town of Mount Lebanon. This community became a beacon to 8 South Carolina families of Baptist persuasion, and 170 years ago, they made Mount Lebanon their home. Local historian and lifelong resident Elizabeth Towns. So what's in the name? How did Mount Lebanon get its name?
Well, they came from Edgefield District, South Carolina. They were all biblical, had a lot of knowledge, you know. And the Lebanon came from the cedars of Lebanon, from which King Solomon's temple was built. And they traveled a distance, and this was a hilly site, you know. So they called it Mount Lebanon.
Clearly, the cornerstone to the community is the Mount Lebanon Baptist Church, established in 1837. It's been the home church of Ruby Grubbs and her family for over 50 years. Is this a special place for you? Is this a special place for you and your family?
It is. It's a haven. It really is. There's just something sacred about the area around the church and the people here and everything. We're just like a big family, you know. Our church family means a lot to all of us.
One of the church's earliest preachers was a man by the name of George Baines Johnson. He is the great-grandfather of U.S. President Lyndon Baines Johnson. There are other touches of where church meets state inside this sanctuary. For example, the chandelier in the center of the church.
It came from the first governor of the state, Governor Claiborne's mansion in New Orleans. And it was bought prior to 1948, when the church celebrated its centennial.
The benches are original. Our pulpit is original. History, I mean, the benches, you know, being separated when the men and the women used to sit on opposite sides. The offering cups, collection cups, are original, and we use those on our homecoming Sunday. That's the only time they're used. They're just for looks now, just on display.
It's a historic town, not well known, of course. I told someone I lived in Mount Lebanon, and they act like they thought it was across the water.
P.F. Eaton and her husband, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Eaton, live in one of 7 Mount Lebanon homes that are on the National Register of Historic Places. This house was originally built as a hotel. It is known as the Dogtrot. How old is this home?
It was built in 1847, and that room back there was about 1838.
It's called a Dogtrot.
Yes.
What is a Dogtrot?
A Dogtrot is an open passage between part of the house where the dogs can run in and out. They trot right through. So I have guests every Christmas. I have a full house. We have services on Christmas Eve at the church, and one time I had 17 that walked from here to the church. So all my children come home for Christmas, and most of the time their children come with them.
Homes of the original South Carolina families still remain. The rich collection of historic homes also includes the Stagecoach Inn, built in 1847, and it's nestled on the corner of Huckleberry Lane and Stagecoach Trail. This home became the stop for the stagecoach on its regular runs from Shreveport to Monroe. This residence, known as Down Home, was built in 1853 and includes hand-hewn timbers as well as cypress sills put together with pegs. The Thurman Place was built in the 1850s, and the Colbert Place was home to Dr. Bartholomew Egan, one of the town's founders. Egan was born in Ireland and was the first president of Mount Lebanon University. That's right. Once upon a time, Mount Lebanon was a college town. 12 years after the Baptist Church was organized, Mount Lebanon University was formed. This is the site of the former Mount Lebanon University. The town was very prosperous, so was the university, until the Civil War took away the young men.
At first it was Mount Lebanon Female College, and then later it became co-ed. And the site is just up Highway 154, maybe a quarter of a mile toward Gippsland. And the railroad came through Gippsland. The war was over. School began to decline, and it was later moved to what is now known as Louisiana College at Pineville.
Many of the Mount Lebanon memories are now preserved at the Stagecoach Trail Museum. On this day, the museum is also home to several ladies restoring a king-size quilt, which nearly takes over the floor space. And now more than ever, maintaining the colorful history and heritage of Mount Lebanon is the main goal.
Children leave to go to college, and some of them come back, but most of them don't. And we understand that. But we're here because they have to have a place to come home to. And so we'll keep it going. I'd rather live and die here than any place in the whole world. And for a country girl, I've traveled extensively. But this is the place that we love and enjoy. And we'll do all we can so those kids can keep coming back.
Mount Lebanon Baptist Church organized several missions with Minden's First Baptist Church, among the most prominent today.